In this video, we're going to be listing out 5 exercises that you can do to improve your speed as an athlete. Hey, Ben from barbellcoalition.com here, and today we're going to be talking about 5 exercises that you can do in the gym that'll improve your ability to accelerate explosively, decelerate under control, cut angles on a dime, and improve your top end speed mechanics. The first exercise we're going to use is going to be the power clean. I'm a big fan of Olympic lifts. I'm a big fan of athletes learning to execute these moves properly, no matter what sport they're in. It's my opinion that the time invested in learning these movements has a massive payoff to athletic performance. So how does a power clean relate to speed? Well, we need to look at an athlete's need to accelerate explosively, but also decelerate under control. So when we look at most team sports, the acceleration phase and the deceleration phase are going to be the most important parts of sprinting mechanics. So it's not unlikely that an athlete's going to reach top end speeds during play, but more than likely what we're going to look at more is the ability to accelerate, decelerate, change direction, rather than linear sprint speed down the field. So in that same vein, what a power clean is going to teach us to do is accelerate a load rapidly, but also decelerate a load under control in the catch. So a lot of people will argue that exercises like trap bar jumps will get the same outcome as Olympic lifts, so why would I take the time to learn Olympic lifts when I can just do trap bar jumps? Factors that Olympic lifts bring to the table, like the power clean, that other exercises don't, is the ability to decelerate under load. So if we're teaching our trunk to decelerate properly, that's going to translate directly over to the field when it comes to changing direction, decelerating, accelerating. Okay, the second exercise you're going to use is going to be the front squat. The front squat is going to correlate to all phases of a sprint, from the acceleration to the drive to top end speed and the recovery and deceleration. One way that it does this in a way that the back squat doesn't is front squats are going to be a little more reliant on quad strength. And quad strength comes into play when it comes to accelerating from a dead stop position. So if we have stronger, more powerful quads, that'll improve our ability to accelerate explosively. Another reason the front squat's gonna transfer really well over to sprinting mechanics is, again, being able to control the core under dynamic circumstances. So to have a successful front squat, I need to keep my torso upright. If I let my torso collapse forward and my core collapse, the bar is gonna fall off my shoulders. I'm gonna fail the lift. So to be able to execute a front squat properly, I have to keep my core engaged the entire time while going through this intense movement with this intense load on my shoulders. So again, we're looking at core control under dynamic circumstances, which in my opinion has one of the best transfers over to athletic performance. And the front squat's gonna train that almost directly. So front squats improve your acceleration, your drive, your deceleration, but they're also gonna improve your top end speed mechanics. So if we look at a sprint, when you're in the acceleration phase, you're leaning forward through the drive phase, and then once you reach top end speed, your head should be above your hips. So when you reach top end speed mechanics, your ability to keep an upright torso is going to be especially important, and the front squat trains that to a T through, again, core control under dynamic circumstances. The third exercise you're going to be looking at is going to be the rear foot elevated split squat. Unilateral training itself is super important for athletes because 99% of athletic movements on the field are unilateral. So what the rear foot elevated split squat is going to do for you as an athlete is it's going to teach you to maintain control of your trunk, again, under dynamic circumstances, while coordinating through your quads, your hamstrings, and your glutes at the same time. Because anytime we're training unilaterally, some form of coordination is going to come into play. And again, this will translate very well to sprinting, because sprinting itself is unilateral, because when you sprint, especially in the acceleration and the drive phase, and what that's dependent on is your ability as an athlete to transfer as much force into the ground through each step. A lot of times athletes can be stronger on one side of their body without even realizing it. If you're only performing bilateral moves in the gym, muscle imbalances won't make themselves as noticeable as when you isolate one side at a time. And what unilateral training allows you to do is find these muscle imbalances and even yourself out. All right, the fourth exercise in this list is going to be sled sprints. So again, to improve acceleration, what we're going to look at is the body's ability to transfer as much force as possible through each of those first steps. So one way that we can improve that area is to add resistance. So when we add resistance to our acceleration mechanics, what that does is it improves our body's ability to transfer more force into the ground. So the sled sprint in particular will teach an athlete to drive out the balls of their feet. So this is a cue I like to use with my athletes a lot when it comes to sprint work. When they're working through their acceleration phase, I always say, imagine that you're pushing the earth behind you. So they can create the connection in their head where they go, okay, when I accelerate, I want to think about driving forward through the balls of my feet. Fifth exercise is going to be alternating bounds. Using plyometrics is going to be one of the best training tools that an athlete can take advantage of, especially those that rely on a fast stretch shortening cycle. So what alternating bounds will do is it'll improve, again, your ability to drive as much force into the ground as possible, but also as fast as possible each time your foot touches the ground. One drill that you can do is you can plot out a certain distance, let's say 20 or 30 meters. So in that distance, you'll perform your alternating bounds as fast and explosive as possible. And then when you get to the end, take note of how many strides it took you to get to that distance, and over time work to decrease the amount of strides that you need to take to reach that distance. So then you'll know that if you're decreasing the amount of strides that you're taking in your bounds to get to the finish line, you're transferring more power into the ground on each contact. So if you start incorporating these 5 exercises into your training program on a regular basis, what you're going to see is direct gains in your ability as an athlete to accelerate explosively, decelerate and change direction on a dime, as well as improve your top end speed mechanics. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop a comment down below. If you know somebody who could benefit from this information, please consider sharing the video. Subscribe to the channel, where we'll work to bring you valuable training information on a weekly basis. Instagram, Facebook, website, all that stuff is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching.